Boys, let's talk about it. I want to talk about, do reviews matter? We have a show called ITG Week in Review. Of course, our show matters, but some of the reviews we do actually matter. I want to get into that, but before we even get there, make sure you help us out. We're building a cool ass community here. We can only do it with your help. Hit that sub button, leave us a comment, share, like, all that good stuff. Boys, let's dive in. Scott, do reviews even matter?
Oh, well, I want to look at it as a whole and see reviews for video games alongside of reviews for movies. So, my own personal anecdote on that is that I do pay attention to movie reviews. There are certain channels, certain individuals that I really respect their opinions on, and I've
Yep.
watched them for years and years at this point now. So, I have a parasocial relationship, a rapport with them, and I appreciate their input. So, in that regard, I do think reviews matter because, rather selfishly, I'm thinking of myself.
Well, that's fair though, right? You want to have that inside info, whether or not you should purchase particular
Mhm.
said title, movie, whatever, right? So, Michael, where are
Mhm.
you at with this?
There's
Oh, go ahead,
I think
Scott. Sorry,
we're
cut you off. One sec, one sec.
oh,
What do you got, Scott?
hold.
Oh, I was just saying there's a big a wave of influence that reviewers seem to have to push off now. So it's
Yeah.
everybody's first gut reaction to a game is usually just completely insane and way over the top. So I think the reviewers that you build a rapport with is somebody that's something that's important. Whether it's video games or cars, it's just you need to understand what that person is saying so that you can cut away all of this social noise.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Michael, what about you? Let me ask you this. Let me rephrase this a little bit. Do review scores matter?
I
Mm.
think that is the only part of the traditional review that still matters, right? I think the fact that if I can go to a Metacritic and I can say, "What's this game?" Boom, go to this. I think even maybe more important than scores, though, is the Steam review, right? Which is extremely likable, average, you know,
Hmm.
big thumbs up, big thumbs down on that scale. I think being able to just go quickly look at a game, like there'll be a game I like. All right, let me go to Steam. Boom, extremely unlikable. Boom, all right, I'm gonna buy that game, right? That I think is where it matters. I think Steam, maybe the one more reliable ones, right? You have to buy the game in order to have it. I think that's a big thing, right? Some people don't buy the game,
Mm.
review bomb it. So I think that's where I really think Steam kind of takes the chalk of what the new review is like, all right, who's played this game? Where do they put it? What's the average score? Boom. I think that part still matters. I think the rest of the traditional form review is starting to go away, though, Drew. And I have a reason why. I think Scott was kind of onto it, but I want to hear, Drew, do you think reviews matter still?
Not as much as they used to. Straight up, I really just don't think they do. Because you can give out our review, which we always do here, right? The whole purpose of us, we're fortunate. I'm not gonna lie about this. We were very fortunate, and I'm not gonna lie at all. I'm always truthful. So if you don't like it, that's just too damn bad. But the way it goes down is we get hands-on early to give you guys our true hands-on experience and whether or not it is worth your time, worth
Mhm.
your hard-earned money, right? Because at the end of the day, when you drop $40, $80, 120 on the Ultimate Edition, 150, whatever it is, GTA 6, please don't do that. I'm very curious to see, right? Like at the end of the day, this is why we do this, so that you guys have the information that you need to warrant whether or not you are interested in buying the game. Here's my point of view. There's Scott's point of view. Sometimes we'll have completely different points of view, which I kind of actually like the most. Those are the most exciting ones,
Mm.
where I'm high on something and Scott's like, yeah, this isn't so good, which then does make it a little bit more muddied in there, right? But what it comes down to is everybody gave the review of Stalker 2 when it dropped. It was still the
Mm.
biggest selling game on Steam. This is why I started to
Yeah,
kind of go, huh,
bit of a unique
right?
subject though, being Stalker. It's like a Bethesda where you're expecting so many bugs and glitches and stuff like that. So in that one case, I think you're very correct. In that reviews almost didn't matter whatsoever. You had already made up the mind on whether you're playing it or not.
And I think that's going to come down to a lot of things moving forward, right? Assassin's Creed, I don't care what anybody scores that game. I'm playing in Shadows, right? GTA 6,
Mhm.
nobody's going to care. Nobody will care what you could score a GTA 6 a negative 10. Nobody cares, right? Like
No,
there's just
Mhm.
you're shooting your own credibility at that
yeah,
point.
exactly. But I think it's a case by case basis. I think there are some things that are definitely warranted that you need to have a review opinion on to help you go, hey, I've never heard of this game. Is it worth my time? Where's the review? We go look for the review, right? This is why one of the things we're starting to do is situate ourselves a little bit on the heavier on the indie side, because a lot of these indie games are dropping on a daily basis and nobody knows them. And if you do catch wind of it, you don't know of it enough to have an informed opinion of whether or not you're going to be hyped for it, right? So we can kind of get in there, we'll help you guys and build that up and say, hey, this is cool, this didn't work, or this did work, but yet it still stumbled here, or maybe it was just absolutely fantastic across the board. That's where I'm at. So I think it's a unique situation, right? I think, yes, they do matter, but at the same time, sometimes they just don't. Where are you at, Michael? What was your little bit of info where you wanted to hear where I was at first?
Because I think the meta of reviews have changed, right? I don't think we're in the form of, all right, here's my score from ITG or wherever. We more do video essays, right? But, here's my paragraph, right? Like you used to, you'd pick up like a Game Informed magazine. Here's, the Zelda review. Here's their score. Here's their 4 paragraphs, what they like, what they didn't like, right? And Scott kind of touched on this, right? I think we've shifted to this streamer world, right? Where I'm not going to get my review from a source, right? I'm going to go watch my favorite streamer play this game on Twitch, on YouTube, do a YouTube review. And that's almost how I get to watch a review. Because as Scott said, there's like that parasocial relationship. I'm almost like watching a friend play it in real time. They're going to give their opinions in real time. I'm going to be able to watch the game get played and not just read like, oh, I thought the level design was cool. What does that mean? What do you... if
Sure.
Drew thinks it's cool, do I think it's cool? I get to watch someone play it in real time. Now, the tricky part is a lot of these Twitch streamers are sponsored by the game, so that always is a little bit tough to decide. But I think that's really where reviews are going, right? That's why I like the Steam score. I could be like, all right, boom, let me quickly pull up Stalker 2. Here's the Steam score. All right, now let me go watch a Twitch streamer play Stalker 2, right? And I can be like, okay, I like how this game looks. I like how they're reacting. Oh, I don't like how this game looks. Oh, I maybe think their reaction is not genuine. So that's where I think reviews have shifted, right? We're no longer in this, all right, this journalist, he's going to play it. He's going to tell me what he thought. I just pop up Twitch, watch somebody who I've spent hundreds of thousands of hours watching play a game, and it's almost like watching a buddy play. And that's, I think, where the review meta is shifting towards.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I want to push back a little bit on your preference for scores versus kind of the description bit of it. For myself, I'm all about the nuance for the text, the wording below the score. To me, the score is almost irrelevant because I view it as that first kind of social. There's too many things kind of that influence that actual score where I want to okay, the combat is more like this, it feels like this. There's so much more nuance to it, and that's the part that I really read into. That's why most of the videos I watch, I think, on YouTube are 20 minutes plus.
Yeah, which is fair, right? Yeah, that's definitely a long form, and it seems to be shifting in today's society of how people consume the content. A lot of our videos we're putting out right now are very, very long compared to what we normally do here as well. But it's a conversation piece, and that's what we like to do sometimes as well, change it up. But I find it's funny after my time with talking with so many developers, as in my time with being in the industry, for us to score them a 7 is like the dreadful 7. The 7, nobody wants a 7. They'd rather have an 8, 9, or a 6, 5, because there's intrigue all of a sudden when you announce this game is a 6. Wow, is it really that bad? Can't be that bad, is it? Oh, Drew didn't like this. No, he's got to be wrong. Boom, they'll pick up the game and they'll try it and they come back and go, yeah, no, you're right, or no, you were wrong because I liked it for A, B, and C. Where when you get into 8s, 9s, you're like, oh, this is a great game. Easy pickup, right? Easy pickup. That's just hands down. People go for it. But when you get into that lower score, like when you get, remember when we scored Gollum? We gave it, did I give it a 0.5 or a 1? I thought it was horrible.
I think it was a 0.5.
Yeah, that's so bad. Like, it was broken. It was bad. But people are like, no, it can't be this bad. So they're intrigued enough by the score alone to then go check it out. We warned you. Straight up, we warned you.
Yep.
But it still brings that conversation, right? Of, hey, this is really that bad. No wonder you guys gave it such a low score and stuff like that. So, but it's more for me, the conversation built around the review than the actual final score, right? Here's why I feel. This is why. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I think of how many 6 out of 10 games have you really loved? I can't even count them all. There's hundreds.
Yeah. Everybody's got their one, like, I know there's not a lot of people like this game. I do, right? I do. Star Wars Outlaws. A lot of people crap on that game. I like that game, right?
Oh,
It's just
how? How do they hate on it so much after so many updates? And see, this gets back to what I said before. It's just the idea that there's such a visceral reaction to something that just overwrites whatever new information comes out, and that's so
how about
painful.
Skull and Bones, right? I like that game. Not a lot of people do, right? But I also scored it justly and kind of gave you my opinion on it and where it is. But a lot of people are like, "Yo, I don't know about this game," and but I'm out there because of the experience, and I tell you my experience. And hopefully, the idea is that we build up a community that goes, "Okay, I like what Drew thinks on his game. I play a lot of his in his playstyle, or I like Scott's opinion because he does horror games, or Michael's always talking about Marvel Rivals, and I like what he's talking about. I'm going to go check that out." And that's why we try to do our conversations here and not just do a single point of view for our reviews. It is that conversation so you get two talking points and build that connection of what do I like versus what somebody else doesn't. But it does come into a weird conversation of do reviews matter? I still think they do, but at some points they just really don't because the game is that big, that important to people. The scores just don't matter.